Hey, looks like we're live. This is a little unexpected, to be honest. I think it was supposed to go live 20 minutes from now. Somehow it just seemed to jump the gun and go live. So I see there's a few of you guys out there. So anyways, drop me a comment. Let me know that you're alive and well out there. And then we'll get started. So, hey, looks like we're live. And there's my live stream coming in. All right, so Michael Connor is in the house. What's up, Michael? Good to see you, man. Where are you tuning in from, brother? More chord practice. Okay. Well, maybe that's something we can get into today. I see it's YouTube is like automatically closed captioning me too. That's pretty neat. But yeah, guys, for those of you guys that are tuning in, we're going to do a live guitar lesson, and it's going to be Ask Me Anything. So yeah, if there's, grab your guitars basically, and we can get fired up and get started and get going. And we're going to hang here for, I wasn't supposed to go live for another 20 minutes. I was actually just kind of setting it up, but somehow YouTube just like pressed play. And so anyways, so here we are, but that's cool. So I was kind of planning to go from like at the top of the hour, it's 22 right now, but I was planning on going at the top of the hour for an hour. But hey, maybe I go for an hour and a half, who knows? But yeah, I mean, obviously there's lots to talk about with guitar, you know, whether it's chord changing, chord strumming, whether it's awesome, cool gear, which as you can probably tell from looking around me, I've got a little bit of it. Yeah, so I mean, if you guys have questions about guitar, and yeah, just start chat rolling in. Like you guys got that chat right on the side there, and as you can see, the title of this lesson is Ask Me Anything. And so yeah, I just wanted to go live and just help you guys out, see if we can get you fired up on guitar and get you pushed forward, getting you moving forward and all that good stuff. So yeah, let me know where you're tuning in from in the world. What kind of guitar is sitting on your lap? I see that Michael's tuning in from Philly, and we got Greg coming in from Indy. You guys are all making your places shortened. Philadelphia, Indianapolis. I'm Canadian, by the way, so that's not like a super common word for me. Indianapolis, the Indy 500. What's up, guys? Michael and Greg on the call. Good to see you guys out there. And yeah, as mentioned, I'd be curious what kind of guitar is sitting in your lap. Like I said, because I'm starting so early, I'm actually not totally ready. So grab your favorite beverage, grab your guitar. I'm going to stick this mic up my shirt. There we go. Because I was supposed to do that before we went live. But hey, here we are. It's all good. Yeah, and so, but at least I got volume. Still in drop D from my rehearsal the other night. So still got my coffee on the go. Awesome. I see some more people tuning in. Greg. Oh yeah, so we already said hey to Michael and Greg. Amit is tuning in. And E minor. So Amit says, is it important to have a particular guitar for particular songs like metal and jazz songs? Hey, that's a good question. And then Michael was asking about some more chord practice. And Michael, did you get Stairway to Strumming? And when did you get it? I'd be curious to know. Got my coffee on the go. And E minor, asks how to tap clean. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm probably not the best person to ask that particular question. I'm just not really like, a product of the 80s shred guitar. I really like guitarists like Slash. He's kind of like my 80s guitar icon. But yeah, I never really got into the tapping thing. So I can show you one really killer tapping lick though. This is my go-to tap lick. It's like, say if I'm doing something in some sort of A blues thing. Cool, hey? So you can do that with a finger tap, or you can do it with a pick, like as a pick tap. And then it sounds pretty fiery when you like do that rapid fire thing. Need a little more distortion to kind of like really make those gainy notes pop out. But that's pretty cool. Hey, I guess Emai says wow. So I guess that's he's stoked on my tapping skills. But that's kind of like my go-to tapping lick, which is super fun. I think that's actually like a Billy Gibbons thing, believe it or not, from ZZ Top. I think that was something that he would do. And so yeah, and so as you can hear, it is kind of like more of a bluesy context. That's awesome. So Michael says that he got Stairway to Strumming, my favorite Campfire Guitar Star course, 3 days ago, and have been practicing it for the last 4 days, 8 to 10 hours a day. Whoa. Wow. That is legendary. Let's just all salute Michael Connor. Michael Connor from Philly. Michael Connor from Philly, we salute you. He just bought Stairway to Strumming 3 days ago. He's been practicing for the last, he's been practicing in general 4 days, 8 to 10 hours a day. And then it sounds like you've been integrating the Stairway to Strumming program in the last 3 days or so. Just had to do some quick math there. That's awesome, man. Really, really good work. And on that note, just before we really like dive into the lesson, I mean, I'm still like 11 minutes early before I was supposed to go live. But yeah, so maybe you guys know who here is on my mailing list. I would just be curious to know. But we're doing a special promotion on Stairway to Strumming right now. So it sounds like Michael would have gotten in and gotten full access to Stairway to Strumming for the it's like 52% off right now. It's over 50% off. So it's just $47. I'm just going to drop that link in right here for you guys to check that out. But yeah, so it is on sale until tomorrow and basically till midnight. So like Sunday end of day. So there is the link. And actually on that link right now, we just released a new video on this YouTube channel here yesterday, which was a big, juicy 30-minute lesson. We got all the tabs for you and all that kind of stuff. It's all about switching chords and strumming at the same time, which who here struggles with that? I'd also be curious about that. Let me know, guys. just type a big capital YES for yes, I struggle with that. Just go ahead and type yes in the comments if you struggle with chord changing, chord switching, strum patterns, bar chords, you know, riffing, power chords, just like the whole chordal umbrella. You know, are you struggling with that? Is that challenging to you? Like, do you kind of wish that you could play some awesome songs and be able to switch chords seamlessly and all that kind of stuff? I'd just be curious to know who here on the call is struggling with that. And yeah, so we can, I definitely, like, that was one of the things that I kind of had planned, and maybe I'll kind of hop into that in about 10 minutes or so at the top of the hour, because I know there's going to be a surge of people that come in at like kind of 2:05, because that's when the lesson was scheduled. But yeah, we'll kind of talk about some chord changing and chord switching and things like that, because that's a really big topic. I've been teaching guitar for almost 15 years, and man, a lot of people that come in my doors are, you know, they're struggling with exactly that. And in fact, I've surveyed a lot of you guys that are part of this Campfire Guitar Star community, and I've gone through each one of those responses, and so many people are struggling with chord changes and chord strumming and the chord, you know, like all the strum patterns and switching chords at the same time. And then of course it's just like, then all of a sudden like a bar chord gets thrown in the mix, and you know, it can be really frustrating. And then, but there's also all kinds of other chordal things with guitar too, like name this song. Oh. Looks like I gotta practice that lick. Just messing up on that right now. I know I'm live, so like there's no edits here, and I'm just like completely messing up one of the most classic riffs of all time. Oh! Should have warmed up or practiced beforehand, eh? But anyways, what I'm getting at is that that's called, like that's basically outlying three chords, right? You've got your D and a C add 9 and a G. So if I strum those out, right, when you get something like that going on, you can break it down into arpeggios and arpeggiated strumming. So you could go, and there's a whole segment inside of Stairway to Strumming where we cover a whole bunch of chordal arpeggios. And if you caught the lesson that I released yesterday, okay, I'm gonna try another super classic song that I haven't warmed up on yet. It's kind of tricky. Here we go. So what I'm getting at is that intro there. So I've just got a G chord lined up there, but I'm arpeggiating those notes, okay? And so again, there's a whole segment inside of Stairway to Strumming that has all, it goes beyond just chord strumming and chord switching. So yeah, let me know if you guys do have any questions about Stairway to Strumming. And is there anybody here that's kind of like thinking about maybe buying it? And also, has anybody bought the program? I know that Michael has, and hopefully he's digging in and enjoying it. And so, I see that Amit says, can you please answer my question, please? Heck yeah. Okay. And I know that there has been a couple of questions that have come in already. So as you guys know, it's Ask Me Anything, all guitar, music related. Heck, I'd even ask questions about my personal life, and if you guys need some relationship counseling, I'm your guy. Ask me anything. And so let's see. What were these questions, guys? So, okay, we talked about that tapping lick. That's right. Okay, so Annette asks, okay, so Michael asked first. He said, I love the program. He wants to get some more chord practice. So, like some of the big ideas that I've got in Stairway to Strumming are like, okay, how do you get more chord practice? And Michael, feel free to hop in and expand on this topic, but like, I think what you're asking is, how do we get our chords faster? Like, how do we go like this? Bam. Like, how do I do that from an open hand to everything falling into place? In this case, I'm using a C major chord, right? And that's what ends up happening after you get chordal practice, is just like all these fingers can just go from being stretched out into a full-fledged chord, right? All these different chord shapes. And as you can imagine, when you get that physical ability happening, it really, really helps to be able to play a ton of songs, which of course, so many songs utilize chords in them. So one of the big ideas in Stairway to Strumming is we teach the 4 S's. So what that means is exactly kind of like what I was showing you. The first S to get, and by the way, we're talking about chord practice. How do you practice your chords, right? So one of the best ways is to stretch out your fingers, okay, just like I was doing. Simultaneously stick the chord, whatever chord you're working on. Maybe there's like one of these chords that's just like every time you go to it, you just always freeze and have issues getting to it. Okay, so in this case, we're just going to use a C major as an example. So, but those first 2 motions, and why don't you just grab your, like one of your challenging chords right now, and just go ahead and do the first 2 S's, stretch and stick. Okay, just see if you can kind of repeat that motion 10 times. Okay, and just simultaneously allow those fingers to come down roughly pretty much, all at the same time, right? So you can see that when I stretch my hand, of course, there's nothing going on out here, but when I simultaneously stick the chord, that's where it's at. And what you want to then do is double check with a strum. Make sure everything is sounding clean and clear. Nothing sounding like this, right? As you can see, all my fingers just fell over there. I need to get my fingers upright so that they're going straight off the string, right? They're not leaning over like a bunch of dead guys over your strings, right? Got to get those guys upright so you can get a nice clean sounding chord. And hey, it's okay if 1, maybe 2 strings aren't ringing perfectly. That kind of stuff will come with practice. Okay? But that's one of the very first things that comes to mind is getting a couple chords, getting a chord together that is challenging to you. And if you want to get practice on that particular chord, and just chords in general, you should actually cycle this on all your chords. But those first 2 S's, stretch your hand and stick your hand. Stretch, stick. Like, see if you can do that 10 times on every chord, and then go to, like, say, the G chord. Stretch, stick. And then, of course, like I said, you strum the chord, and then you can, I know that this is another big issue, is just remembering the chord names, like knowing that this is a G major, so that you say it. That's the 4th S. So stretch, stick, strum, say. The 4 S's. Stretch, stick, strum, and say. G major. I feel like that's one of the best ways to just kind of like, just go into guitar mode and, start lifting some weights and getting stronger, and just become more physically able on the guitar. One of the other things that comes to mind too is just picking an awesome song to practice. That will certainly practice your chords, right? And so if you guys have been sticking with me, who here has been enjoying the YouTube videos in the last month or so? I've been producing some pretty hefty guitar lessons here on the YouTube channel. Like the one yesterday was 30 minutes long. I don't know if you guys caught that one, but we've been digging in deep. What else, you guys? Oh, sweet. So Michael says he's enjoying it big time. That's great to hear. And any of you guys are interested, that's the link to Stairway to Strumming. Greg says C major kills me. Well, that sounds like that little segment of our lesson here today was a good one for you. And yeah, just see if you can like cycle through there, do those first 2 movements, and then do it 10 times. Then go to the next chord. We've got A to G, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And of course there's A sharps and there's B flats and all that kind of stuff too. But I think that a great way to practice your chords is and a good goal for everyone here on the call should be to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then do the exact same with minors. A minor, B minor, C minor, D minor, E minor, F minor, and G minor. The saddest of all the chords. Those minor chords, I tell you, they pull on the heartstrings. But yeah, so I think that that's a really good goal for everybody on the call. Play A through G major and then A through G minor. That's another great way to practice your chords. Let's see. Anybody got a beverage going on? I got my afternoon coffee going here. And anybody that's just tuning in, make sure to let me know where you're tuning in from and what kind of guitar you're playing. And also, as you can tell from the title, this is Ask Me Anything. We'll keep it to guitar and music, but I'll answer any questions, any questions you guys got. So let's see. What do we got here? So what did Annette ask? Annette asked a question. I'm rolling back. Oh, and Annette's tuning in from India. That's cool. And for those of you guys that don't know, when I messed up earlier, I said I was having problems saying Indianapolis. So I'm from Canada. Tuning in from the Rocky Mountains, pretty close to Calgary, if you guys know where Calgary, Canada is. So I'm actually really close to the Montana border. So anyways, this is where I grew up, and this is where I live, and this is where I built my studio, and this is where I teach guitar and all that good stuff. So what did Annette say? I'm having problems finding Annette's question. Okay, Annette says, is it important to have a particular guitar for particular songs like metal and jazz? So okay, that's a great question. So should you have, if you're playing a metal song, should you have your Jackson or your whatever? And if you're playing blues, should you kind of have your Strat, or what is the deal? So if you see over here where I'm pointing, those are all my guitars. I own every one of those. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got a couple of acoustics. And then basically I just own Fenders and Gibsons. I have two Fender guitars and 3 Gibson guitars. And they kind of cover a pretty big spectrum. I've got single coil pickups, I've got P90 pickups, and I've also got guitars with humbuckers as well. And so there's a few different ways that we can answer that question. One of which is if you have the money and if you have the fundage, it doesn't hurt to buy guitars, you know, like it's fun too. Like I love guitar equipment and I find it very fascinating and it's very interesting to me. So I buy and sell guitars and I'm very happy with my guitar collection right now. But I think that there's something to be said for getting the most that you can out of one instrument. And so I'll just show you what I mean with that right now. So right here, I can go to my neck pickup. I might be able to turn my volume knob down a little bit and I can get a nice like and then check this out. I'll roll it back to the bridge pickup. I'll turn up my volume all the way. Okay, and I might, if I was actually like playing that song live or something, I would probably get a little bit more kind of distortion from my amp, you know, but I hope that shows you a little bit about what you can do with one guitar, you know, using the pickup selector switch, using the volume knob on your guitar. That's how the pros have been doing a lot of their tonal manipulation on guitars for, you know, basically since the invention of the electric guitar. The volume knob isn't really a volume knob per se. It's kind of more like a gain knob. Like, so as you can hear, that's really crunchy, but as soon as I turn that down and I play a little lighter, right, I can really clean up that guitar sound just with kind of my touch and just a slight adjustment of the pickup volume control. So I find that stuff super fascinating. I hope that's interesting to you guys too. But yeah, like, and then furthermore, like if I were playing live, I really like to have a Fender and a Gibson, and that's not necessarily like all about those brand names. It could be like a G&L and a Jackson, you know what I mean? It's just like, we've kind of got two camps with guitar. You get your Fender guitars with single coils, and then you've got your Gibson style guitars with humbuckers. And humbuckers, you know, it doesn't, you can play metal on a Strat or a Tele, no problem, okay? But typically guys that are playing metal are playing guitars with humbuckers, okay? You'll just get more of that sound when you play metal with a humbucking equipped guitar. So yeah, so that's kind of like, so a lot of times when I'm gigging if I'm bringing out 2 or 3 guitars, there will definitely be a Fender in the mix and there will definitely be a Gibson in the mix. And yeah, one kind of like halfway point kind of between all of that is to have a Gibson guitar with either P90 pickups, which are actually single coils, but they're like fat, muscly sounding single coils, or to have a humbucking equipped guitar that have like vintage style low output pickups. And so my Les Paul, for instance, has PAF style pickups. They're made by Mojo Tone, called the 59 Clones. And it's just so nice to have these low output pickups because I can play hard rock, but I can also play like, I don't know, chill folk music on it, you know, and funk and stuff like that. So I find that that's probably the most versatile guitar I really have. So hopefully that answers your questions, Annette, and let me know if you guys have any more questions about that. Joshua asks, what's your favorite primary color? Nice. Hey, it's Ask Me Anything. I dig that question, man. Yeah, I kind of go for red. Red's probably my favorite color. What about you? Tony Boy asks, I can't seem to know when the first beat of a measure is. After a few bars, I get lost. What can I practice to feel the one more? I really want to feel it, not being obligated to count. Yeah, so you know what really comes to mind immediately is to put on your favorite music and put on stuff that's like danceable. Like that could be Queen, or that could be James Brown, or like music that people get down to, like people that would party to. Like say like... Okay, name that song if you know it. But if you put on songs and get familiar with songs that you're actually already familiar with, that you know and you've been listening to your whole life, and then just see if you can figure out the one by actually just feeling it like that, and just be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, da da da. 1, 2, 3, right? And so always the one will be kind of like the start of that riff, or the start of the next section, like when they go into the pre-chorus or the chorus. There will always be that one beat, okay? So, you know, like a couple songs that come to mind would be Danny California by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So that follows like Queen's We Will Rock You, right? Do 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 do. So each one of those kind of phrases, we got like 1, 1. So and then every time, and you can just kind of count on your fingers, like go through it like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then sure enough, when they go to the next section, like the... That's going to happen on the one beat too, right? And then sure enough, they go... like back into that section. That always happens on the one beat. So I know you want to be able to feel it, but what I'm going to suggest is kind of blend those two together. Like, yes, you should definitely be able to feel it. And all you guys have been listening to music your whole lives, right? Like, you guys are all music fans. I know you guys are hanging with me here because you guys all love music. So, yeah, like, you guys know how music is supposed to sound. Okay, and you guys should all trust your intuition when it comes to music. You know, you guys have been listening to music ever since you were a kid, you know, through the radio, through records, like going to concerts, all that kind of stuff. You guys know music, you guys know how it's supposed to sound, so trust yourself and feel it, definitely, okay? And then the other school of thought is to count it out and to like really figure out, okay, what's the tempo? What's the BPM of this song? What's the difference between quarter notes, eighth notes, triplets, 16th notes? Like, what are the rhythmic subdivisions? How is music written, you know, and all that stuff. And how do I play along with a metronome, right? All those types of things, okay? So I would suggest that you guys blend these things. I really think that to get a solid understanding of rhythm and to become at least a decent guitar player, if not a great guitar player, I feel like you got to kind of blend those two schools of thought. You got, your intuition, your musical ability, that's just like using your ear and feeling it with your body, mind, and soul, and then like really using the logical side of your brain and getting knowledge and learning how to do music, how music works, how rhythms work, and all that kind of stuff, and actually be able to count. So if you blend those two, man, you're going to be a force to be reckoned with. But yeah, so thanks for that, Tony Boy. Tony Boy 987654. I had a great question there. Cool. Which app can I use for recording with no delay? Yeah, somebody suggested a free one. What is that? Audacity. Yeah, something like that. I use Pro Tools, but it costs like a fair amount of money, but it's just always what I've used. So yeah, Pro Tools, Logic, GarageBand. What's another big one out there? Ableton is a big kind of up and coming one, but that's kind of maybe more for electronic music production. But cool. So yeah, so there was quite a few yeses in there. I asked earlier, who here on the call is struggling with chord changes, and to just type a big capital YES in the comments. And if Silvio is out there, make sure you guys that are watching on the Guitar Control channel, make sure, Silvio, I need to see those questions on Skype, if you message me on Skype. And actually, I'm just going to say that to you right now. Hey, buddy, message me on Skype for the Guitar Control questions on the YouTube channel. There we go. Silvio is looking after you guys from the Guitar Control community. And yeah, it's cool. I'm using this platform called Restream right now, so I'm able to go live on the Campfire Guitar Star YouTube channel and the Guitar Control YouTube channel. And yeah, it's a live Q&A, so we'll keep it going. I'll see what other kind of questions are here. And we'll get all your guys' questions answered. And some of you guys I know already have picked up Stairway to Strumming, and thank you for that. It's a program that I really believe in, and it's on sale right now. It's working. Sorry, man. Yeah, so if you guys do have questions, roll those in about Stairway to Strumming. You know, maybe you're on the fence about picking it up or whatever. I'm happy to answer some questions about what Stairway to Strumming is and who it's for and all that kind of stuff. And also, yeah, we'll just kind of keep it like this AMA style, ask me anything, you know? So just keep those questions coming in. All right, so let's see. Oh, it's not working on Guitar Control. Oh, shucks. Oh man, what a drag. How do I do that? Maybe I just gotta look into that real quick. No, it is going. I see it on Guitar Control right now. Awesome. Okay, I got that pulled up too, so we'll try to, awesome. Whew. What a relief. Yeah, it was weird. For those of you guys that have been joining me from earlier, I just like accidentally went live 20 minutes too early. Woo! Anyways, cool. So Greg asks, what will we learn from Stairway to Strumming? So just like the title states, it's a stairway, which means that it's a step-by-step system to go from a complete and utter total beginner, like I'm talking people that have never picked up a guitar before. Okay, I've got lessons for those people at the very beginning. Okay, I've got this system that I've been executing for nearly 15 years of teaching guitar. Like pretty much ever since I graduated from music college back in 2006, I've been teaching guitar. And after developing this system and kind of like wishing that I was taught guitar in this particular way, I started teaching it to people. And you know, before I even knew it, I had a waiting list of students and people were getting really awesome results and all that kind of stuff. And so then I put this to video form, and that's what has now become what we call Stairway to Strumming. And it's available for you guys in video form. And if you guys caught my video there, or my email the other day, I was calling it the Netflix of strumming. You know, so you can log in, start streaming the videos, and we've got them all laid out in a step-by-step order. We've got all the reference material. So it will take a total, utmost, absolute beginner all the way to strumming chords, switching chords, playing bar chords, power chords, all your open chords, of course. And all the while, like I really believe that one of the most fun ways to play and practice is by playing actual songs. You know, you guys aren't here to play exercises, right? You guys are here to play guitar, right? And so what we've done is we've hand selected all these like perfect songs where we can both show you the techniques, but also you get to learn a cool song. So we've got songs from, you know, Guns N' Roses and Van Morrison, the Chili Peppers, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, Otis Redding, you know what I mean? Like on and on and on. It covers a huge range of like the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, you know, all these tracks. And, you know, they may not be, like, it's not like all 100 songs that we teach are gonna be like exactly what you want. But like I said, if we wanna teach you these techniques, and then it's just a bonus that you get to learn a song along with it. So that's kind of our style of teaching, is we wanna find out, we want to mix those two together, teach you the technique, but also teach you a song. So we get people to switch chords, like, and that's the whole idea with when you buy and invest in Stairway to Strumming, is that you'll get access to the system. You'll start strumming chords, switching chords, bar chords, fretboard knowledge, power chords, open chords, all that kind of stuff. But actually, that's only about 50 or 60% of the course. There's a whole other side of Stairway to Strumming, which is like, and we talked a little bit about that earlier, if you guys caught that, where I was like, name this song. Right, so that's arpeggiated strumming, right? Like, I should say arpeggiated chordal stuff. So you could call it flat picking too, you know, so that's picking notes out of a chord. So, and then there's, you know, a ton of classic songs do that. And we talked about Paradise City and of course, Sweet Home Alabama, which I didn't mess up this time, so that's good. But so there's, like, that's a concept that goes beyond just strumming, right? That's totally and absolutely included in Stairway to Strumming, and it's actually technically a bonus. But there's all kinds of stuff like that inside of Stairways to Strumming that gets you up to the strumming, chord switching, playing songs type of level, and rocking all kinds of tunes and you know, just ripping it up. But then Stairway to Strumming also goes way beyond that as well. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, there's a link right there. And as a guitar teacher, I'm just really proud of this course, and it's just been so cool over the years, like getting this in front of people and getting people access to this. It's just $47, you know what I mean? Like, it's a very small investment considering how much content is jam-packed in this bad boy. And let me know, guys, any of you guys out there that have picked it up, I'd love to hear your experience of it, and if you guys have any questions about it, do shoot me a note. So let's keep the questions rolling. But yeah, so that was, Greg asks, what will we learn from Stairway to Strumming? I hope that answers your question, man. It's a program I really believe in, and it's been cool to see all the fantastic results. All right, so Craig asks, hey man, I changed my last name on YouTube. I had too many stalkers. Oh, it's Craig. It's Craig. Nice. Craig, dare I say your last name? I'll call you Craig K. Craig K has been taking one-to-one lessons with Mike B from Campfire Guitar Star for quite some time. And he's a certified ripper now, for sure. So watch out for Craig Gallagher. UK Astro Imaging. Hey, Will, loving your blues lessons on jam play. Nice. Where would you suggest I go after I've finished? That's a really good question. It sounds like you're into the blues. It sounds like you're on jam play. That's definitely a good resource. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess if you've got the chord switching and stuff like that down too, which maybe I'm assuming if you're working your way through the jam play blues stuff, that's, I do have other courses on jam play. Let's see. And you know what, speaking about one-to-one lessons, I feel like at some point everybody needs some one-to-one lessons. But hold on. There are some awful one-to-one teachers out there that will completely ruin your experience. Okay? So just make sure that you do get one-to-one lessons. I think it's really important. But make sure you get some good one-to-one lessons. Make sure you find a teacher that like resonates with you and will teach you important things that are in the realm of what you're actually interested in. Because man, again, being a guitar teacher for as long as I have been, I've seen people just like completely turned off from one-to-one lessons. And guitar in general, you know, like sometimes there's so many terrible guitar teachers out there. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. But yeah, so UK Astro Imaging, I'm glad you've been checking out my lessons. That's awesome, buddy. And yeah, maybe you might be ready for one-to-one lessons, depending on where you're at. You know, like if you get that into that intermediate kind of advanced territory, where it's like you're pretty much ready to start playing on stage, like I would say definitely get some one-to-one lessons, you know. But even if you're a total beginner, we teach absolute beginners one-to-one. So good to see Ron Ellis on the call. Right on. Yeah, and keep the questions rolling. I'm just hopping in here. So sweet, we've got some Canadians on the call. Vancouver, Canada. Smytree grew up in Lethbridge. That's 2 hours away from me. Right on. And of course, UK Astro Imaging, he's tuning in from the UK. Right on. Yeah, you guys, right on. Okay, so question. Yeah, Greg says Greg says, play along with the song too. That is a really good tip for sure. If you guys are, like, if you guys can, say if you learn a song on the guitar, it's sounding okay and whatever, maybe it's not perfect or whatever, but a great way to practice that song and a great way to get that song up to a performance level, put on that song, see if you can play with it. And it might be really hard at first, you might, you know, fall off the wagon or whatever, but that's such a great way to practice, because if you can play along with the original recording, if you can play along with rock stars, you know you're doing something right, okay? So I really think that that's an awesome way to practice. And even if you just put on songs and records or the radio and just jam along and try to make something musical, that's also a great way to practice, because you're jamming with rock stars. That's the bottom line, is jam with rock stars, okay? Craig asks, how do you find the tempo of a song without searching on the web? Another question, how much does the human head weigh? 8 pounds. Between 8 and 13 pounds, I believe. Anyways, how do you find the tempo of a song? You know what comes to mind is like, let's see. I'm just going to check my texts here. No, just kidding. Check this out. So here's an app called Pro Metronome. I really like this app right here. And so say if we think about boom, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. So then what you do is you get the tempo going on, right? So I'm just going to hit this tap button, boom, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. And you try to make it as consistent as possible. So that's sitting at about 82 BPM. So there's these tap features in it, and you just need to tap it like 3 or 4 times, and it will kind of like figure out the average of that BPM and give it to you. So hopefully that answers your question there. I think that that's probably the easiest way. And then like we were talking in rehearsal the other night with my group, and somebody's like, oh, that's fast. How fast is that? And I was like, that's got to be about 140 BPM. And sure enough, it was 144 BPM. So you kind of get used to tempos and understanding, like, you know, some of these like slow ones. Right? Like something like that is about 90. So let's see. Tap, 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 tap. Yeah, so that's sitting about 80 BPM. So I was a little off, but you know what I mean. So let's keep it rolling. Hey, can one start studying blues even if still a beginner? How would you go about it? That's a really great question from Alessandro. Yeah, man. I actually think that the blues is a great place to start. It will teach you a lot of stuff. In fact, one of the very first riffs that we teach in the Module 1 in Stairway to Strumming, which is all super easy riffs, is a blues riff. And in fact, if you guys caught my lesson a few weeks ago, we were going over Born Under a Bad Sign by the great and late Albert King. Right, so what a great tune. As you can see, I'm just really using one finger there for most of that. And another great, actually one of the, a really great blues song to learn how to play, even though it's not really blues, we'd call it more classic rock, which is, which is, of course, Come Together by the Beatles, but this blues technique, right? That's so easy. It's really just a one finger thing. I'm using my first finger on the G string 2nd fret there and playing the D string and the G string. And just alternating between the 2nd fret and the 4th fret on that same string. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right, so you can get some really great blues sounds utilizing single note riffs. You know, another one that comes to mind is Killin' Floor by Howlin' Wolf. It sounds something like this. You know what I mean? Like super bluesy stuff, and I'm playing some cool riffs just using one finger at a time. So, to answer your question, I think the blues is actually a fantastic place to start playing, and we actually have a pretty good course about that. Mike B years ago produced a course that we call Blues Guitar Star, and the guitar control community would probably recognize that one. It's called the Zero to Hero Blues series. So. It's a pretty smoking hot one. A lot of people really like that one too. So let's see. UK Astro Imaging again. I'm building a pedal board. Got to do blues, worship, and later jazz. Do I need a compressor pedal? That's a good question. I have a couple compressor pedals. I really like the JHS Whitey Tighty. It's actually, I can almost grab it, but I'm connected to this mic. But anyways, it's a pretty good little pedal. It's quite small. It's like this big. And a compressor pedal, like, I'm kind of torn between it with a compressor pedal right now. It sounds really good. It can make everything sound better. No lie. A lot of people call it an always-on pedal because it's always on, you know, it's just always on. And it just makes everything that you play just sounds just kind of like a little bigger, a little prouder, a little fuller, a little brighter. It just kind of like makes everything that you play a little better. And it also will sustain your notes. So if you play a chord, it kind of makes the whole thing like the same volume as you sustain a chord. Okay? And it will just kind of like maintain the same volume and sustain those, because you can hear that mine dies out, right? But a compressor pedal like helps you sustain chords. So I don't think that it's completely necessary. I feel like there's probably other pedals that are like, you know, more important. But that being said, compression is used a ton in recordings. I own 2 compressor pedals. My singer actually, he's got a compressor pedal, a Boss one over here. And we're kind of thinking that will be his always-on pedal. So take that for what it's worth. Ron is tuning in from Las Vegas. He says, where am I watching from, Will? Well, I guess it's Ask Me Anything. You're tuning in from Las Vegas, Ron. I know that. Pete says, how do you feel about Gibson guitars? I love Gibson guitars. I have 3. I've got a Les Paul, an SG, and a Flying V. All from, like, my newest one is from 2008, and my oldest one is from 1998. So that's from that era. So my SG is a 2001. You know, so it's just all in that kind of era. But yeah, I think they're really great guitars. I love Gibson guitars. And the people often ask me, like, you know, Gibson or Fender, like, which way would you go? And it's like, oh man, I tell you. And I was saying this a few minutes ago. When I do gigs, I will bring out a Fender guitar and I'm bringing out a Gibson guitar. You know, and it's really hard to part with and only just bring one guitar, because sometimes, like, you're playing some of those songs that just require that humbucker Gibson sound, and then there's other times where you just really require that Fender sound. So, oh man, it's really tough. I'm really torn between, like, kind of the two, you know, umbrella brands there. But yeah, love them both. And I own 2 Fender guitars and 3 Gibson guitars. Could probably use a couple more in there too. But yes, keep the questions coming, guys. This is great. And yeah, let me know any comments on Stairway to Strumming. For those of you guys who have bought it, let me know and how you're liking it so far. And also, if you guys are thinking about picking up Stairway to Strumming, let me know if you guys got any questions. And yeah, and as mentioned, there's that link to pick it up. So let's see. Alessandro, please play us your favorite strumming pattern. Okay, I got one for you. Oh, I guess it would be nice if I could touch your body. I know not everybody's got a body like me. Yeah. So that's such an interesting strum pattern, because that strum pattern came from Bo Diddley. They call it the Bo Diddley beat. And of course, he came out in the 1950s with some of those tunes. Definitely one of the guys that's kind of like underrated in terms of a rock and roll pioneer. You know, he was definitely combining blues and country, and then also just coming out with his own style. But they actually call that the Bo Diddley beat. So like, who do you love? Who do you love, right? George Thorogood covered it, and then we went into Faith by George Michaels. Right? And also U2's, what is that song? Desire. So many different artists have used that rhythm throughout time. And of course, and actually, you know, we were talking about how Stairway to Strumming uses these arpeggiated, like we got a whole segment in arpeggiated strumming for stuff like that. And that's a whole segment, a whole module in there. One of the other modules that we talk about is slap strumming. And of course, that's what you heard me doing there, right? Like we've got this. So what that is a combination of really just getting that right hand in a steady position. We talked about that in either last week's lesson or the week before, but like getting that right hand super steady, and then I'm just lifting up, like disengaging my left hand so that I can get that sound, and then I'm squeezing it to make the chord, right? So once you kind of establish the tempo and get your internal metronome just pounding, right there, I'm just punching in chords, right? I'm just like kind of squeezing a chord in here and there with whatever strum pattern, and like I'm just making it up, and it sounds good. But that's the first step, right? Is to kind of get that going on. So that was a question. What is your favorite strum pattern? I guess that's my favorite strum pattern, guys. And yeah, so let's see. So let me check in on the Guitar Control channel. Beer Hounds Beer Reviews. When soloing, are you using theory or winging it by feel and ear? That's a great question. So when I'm soloing, am I using theory or winging it by feel and ear? It's a mixture. Remember how we were talking about those two schools of thoughts with rhythm? Like, learn about rhythm, but also feel rhythm, right? And you kind of combine those two things, your logical sense and kind of your intuition. So with soloing, I 100% mix the two things. I have a roadmap figured out on the guitar. Like, you know, if I'm in A minor, I know like I can go, like all those notes would be really good to play, okay? And then when I'm actually soloing, I'm playing a mixture of all the stuff that I've learned in the past, like licks and solos that I've learned from other artists, and just from practicing and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm using that mixture of stuff that I've learned, stuff that I've studied, stuff that I've learned from, you know, whether that's guitar lessons or video courses or books, you know, or going to music college or whatever it has, you know, that's in my past. And then I'm also using my ear, using my mind, heart, body, and soul to hopefully produce something musical and something that will like feel good for me and get the audience pumped up too, you know? So that's my question to that, or that's my answer to that. Paul D asks, is it possible to sing really, really well and shred? Yeah, that's a tricky one. I feel like there's only a few people that can really do that well. I don't know if you guys have heard of the band Big Wreck, the really great, amazing singer named Ian Thornley. So he can sing like Chris Cornell, and then he can play guitar like Steve Morse or somebody like that, you know, or Malmsteen or something. He's like such a shredder, and he's such a good singer. Who else is kind of like that? I don't know. A lot of times like the singer is kind of playing more of a rhythm guitar part, and they're really awesome rhythm guitar players. Like James Hetfield from Metallica comes to mind as somebody that kind of fits that role. You know, somebody that is a really great singer and holding down the rhythm. So that's tricky, man. I've sung a little bit for you guys today. I'm sure you've noticed I'm not exactly the greatest singer, but you know, I get by. I do some backup vocals in my band, and you know, and stuff like that. It's something that I've been wanting to learn more about, but guitar is my main thing. That's kind of where I feel the most interested and most inclined to work on. So, you know, I know that probably a lot of you guys are like that too. Brian Rollins asks, will I learn a lot of songs to play with the course, Stairway to Strumming? And what's included in Stairway to Strumming? The video and tabs. And I know some chords and basic theory, but I'm feeling stuck. Will this course help me get unstuck? Those are great questions, Brian. Awesome. And then later on he asks, what do you think about telecasters? So hopefully Brian's still on the call. Brian, so firstly, he asks, will I learn a lot of songs to play with Stairway to Strumming? And the answer is yes. If you guys caught that a little while ago, I was saying that like we want to teach you the techniques and the theory and like actually how to do some of these things, you know, like chording and switching chords. And we want to show you how to do that and the technique behind them. But always, 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 we're showing you a song application in order to do that. So I think there's about 100 songs inside of Stairway to Strumming that you'll learn. And it's not always like a start to finish thing. Sometimes it's just like, you know, a verse and a chorus of a song or something like that. But yeah, we absolutely teach a ton of songs. You'll learn riffs and the chords note for note to some of the most famous songs that are out there. So yes, Stairway to Strumming, you will play a lot of songs with this course for sure. What is included in Stairway to Strumming? Yeah, so it's a video course that you'll get a username and password to. Like as soon as you check out for the $47, you get a username and password automatically generated, which gives you instant access to the course in its entirety. And we've got it all organized in the different modules. All the bonuses are right there. And then we've got a PDF download that follows the order of the video. And we were meticulous about this. We really wanted to, you know, do what the name states. It's the Stairway to Strumming, right? So we want it to be follow that progression that we've seen work so effective in all of our years of teaching. And the PDF, all the resource material, has all the tabs, all the chord charts, the scale charts, and also there's just extra stuff in there like articles and like my whole book called the 5-Minute Guitar Book. I don't know if any of you guys have that, but I've stopped shipping that around the world now, but I've included that as a PDF download inside of Stairway to Strumming, which is a super cool bonus. It's like an extra kind of $40 value that's just included as a free PDF download. So yeah, so you've got the video course, you have got all the resource material. It's all laid out in that step-by-step format. That's what Stairway to Strumming is all about. And Brian also asks, I know some chords and basic theory, but I'm feeling stuck. Who here's feeling stuck on the guitar? That is definitely a place that I've found myself throughout the years, and I've got some ideas for you on how to fix that. But I know that comes up for sure. So we know some chords and some basic theory, but I'm feeling stuck. Will the course help me get unstuck? Yeah, so like the first couple modules for you, Brian, might be a little too beginner, but yeah, hop it kind of like in the middle of Stairway to Strumming. That will get you going on some of those things we talked about, like all the chords, the chord changing, bar chords, fretboard knowledge. Like we talk about how to play songs in different ways. Like for example, I can go like this, D, C and G here, but I can also go D, C and G here, right? So if I play something like that out, one of my favorite things, you know, is to learn how to play things in other ways on the guitar, and it will really open up the fretboard to you and just show you what's possible, because that's one of the most confusing things about the guitar is you look down on it, you're like, okay, what the heck is going on with this thing? It's not like a piano, right? Like you can look down at a piano and like pretty well instantly figure out exactly what's going on. You've just got, you know, these 12 notes that just repeat and repeat and repeat. But the guitar is not like that. It's like you've got an individual piano starting from a different spot on each string. You know, it's like it's harder in ways than a piano. So when you can kind of open up the fretboard like that and get some more fretboard knowledge, it really, really opens things up. So like I said, I think that for those of you people that are already playing a little bit and maybe you do know some chords, well, don't let Stairway to Strumming turn you away with the name. You know, it's like, but I'm already playing chords and strumming a bit. Well, Stairway to Strumming does that, yes, but that's really only half the course. There's this entire other half with like the slap strumming and that, you know, we were talking about that riff to Who Do You Love? You know, there's stuff like that going on, and the arpeggiated chords and chordal knowledge and and just, yeah, how to learn your fretboard and how to play chords in different ways and all that good stuff. So, and also guys, it comes with a 60-day money back guarantee. So, you know, tomorrow the price goes back up to normal price. It's going to be $97 on the website, and still at that price, it's still a great value, but you guys may as well hop in and check that out, get access to it for over 50% off, just 47 bucks. And then you're covered by a 60-day money back guarantee. So don't think too hard about this. You know, we really want to make this super, super easy for you guys. Like, hop in. There's over 18 hours of video content here. You know, so we go deep, it's very thorough, and there's a lot of information covered. So Brian asked, what do you think about telecasters? I think telecasters are ugly. I don't own one. I love telecasters. I think they sound great. I will probably own one day just because they sound so good, and I think they're ugly, okay? I do not like the aesthetics of them. I find the Stratocaster to be a much more sexy guitar. Telecasters are kind of ugly. I'm sorry if you think Telecasters are beautiful. But Telecasters are also the most versatile guitar that you can buy. If you were to only ever buy one guitar and you liked, you know, hard rock and you like blues and everything, I would say you can't go wrong with a Tele. Because, yeah, you can play funk on it and you can tap into those Strat kind of Fendery vibes. But did you know that Led Zeppelin 1 and Led Zeppelin 2, those albums were all recorded with a Telecaster? So, you know, all that good stuff, whether it's like... I haven't ever learned those licks, you know? Musical interlude. So yeah, so that's what I think about Telecasters. I think they're awesome. They totally make sense. They're very versatile. They're very good sounding guitars. I just don't like how they look. I like a sexy guitar, you know? If you guys caught my video I recorded yesterday, I've got this like super sick Flying V. That's a sexy guitar. A Stratocaster, that's a sexy guitar. A Les Paul, that's a sexy, an SG, that's a hot guitar. Teles, they're just kind of ugly. Anyways, so let's see. Just catching up on the Guitar Control YouTube channel. I'm going to hop over to the Campfire Guitar Star YouTube channel here in a second. Keep those questions coming in, guys. This is great. Hopefully you guys are getting a lot out of this. And I'm answering your questions about guitar, answering your questions about Stairway to Strumming, all the good stuff. Thunderverse says, I recently started playing in a band and I have to learn Sweet Child of Mine. Till next week. Stuck on the fast part. Oh, let's see if I can bust this out. Whew. I think I did it. But yeah, so I think that's what you're talking about. So what's interesting is that's kind of like a harmonic minor scale. So it has that really Spanishy vibe, but the big trick there is to go. is to be able to stretch from your pinky finger on the 11th fret of the B to the 7th fret of the high E string. What is it? It's kind of like Twilight Zone. But yeah, so just sitting there on the Twilight Zone type of section of that. Like that's such a big stretch. And so to get that stretch, guys, and it's really important to get your thumb in the back of the neck. Like you don't ever want your thumb sticking over the top for licks like that, like that require a big stretch. Like look, if I'm going, look at my thumb. The thumb's hanging out there all day long, right? But as soon as I'm going, as soon as I'm doing something more like that, okay, the thumb gets tucked in, more the middle of the neck, and that allows me to reach my hand up and around, and then I can get a big spread on the guitar. Because if my thumb's up here, I can't do any spread. There's no way that my fingers will stretch out. That stretch happens from having your thumb in the back of the neck. So, but yeah, that is a tricky part. I worked on that years ago and pretty much got the solo down note for note type of thing. But it took a long time to get that. You know, that's one of the greatest solos of all time and a very tricky lick. But it's actually not as hardcore as it really sounds, because a big part of that is using the wah pedal. As soon as that section of the solo comes in, he cranks on the wah, so he's wahing that whole thing, which makes it sound extra just crazy, you know? So anyways, keep that in mind. Cool. So yeah, INV says I'm feeling stuck. So my question is, how do I practice my guitar phrasing? So what is guitar phrasing? Guitar phrasing is kind of like how you might speak. See how I stopped there? Right? There's these phrases. So I say a phrase. I might say something like, keep your stick on the ice. Maybe, is that a Canadian thing? I don't know. But there's a phrase. And then I stop. And so I think that one of the biggest things that guitar players really mess up on is they don't stop enough. They don't stop playing. And so, you know, actually getting back to that Whole Lot of Love solo, like there's this kind of call and response, right? And so I think that you always have to remember that there's that kind of concept with music and guitar. So, and one of the best ways to think about it is try to imagine playing like a saxophone player. So imagine this. And then you run out of air and you have to stop playing. You physically cannot allow air to go through that saxophone anymore. You're gonna stop, take another breath, and then you can play again. So with phrasing and your soloing and stuff like that is see if you can find the power in stopping. There's a lot of weight and emphasis that can happen in a guitar player solo by actually playing kind of like starting and stopping, and how long those pauses are. You know, because we have the tendency of just going like, and just like playing all the time, you know, like not letting there be any kind of stop. So in a way, what can be more powerful is to play a lick and then stop. So, and build a story, right? So you might start your solo with more stops, but then as the story kind of hits the climax, then you might be like really like up high, like ripping and playing fast and like really filling up the space. And then you can actually, there's always going to be a climax in your solo, and try to not just keep on going, because like once the climaxes happen, almost always you got to start like, whoo, like landing the jet. You know what I mean? Like just bringing that super-powered jet fighter. It's going 800 miles an hour. Like you got to bring it down to the ground. You know, so I feel like a solo is kind of like that too. So those are some ideas on phrasing. You know, it's definitely an important thing with guitar playing. So, awesome. Good to see some people on the guitar control community. And for you guys, Silvio, you should drop a link for these guys. Silvio says, so somebody asks, do you get any basic music theory in Stairway to Strumming? And I think I answered that. So, yes, there is absolutely basic to intermediate music theory. It's all like applicable rock and roll guitar music theory. And, you know, how to play chords in different ways, some really important scales to play. And we include all the scale charts and all that kind of stuff in the reference material, all kind of like the most important stuff, you know, for you guitar players that are playing like rock and blues and acoustic music. By the way, it's great for, I know we're talking a lot about like electric guitar type of stuff right now, but Stairway to Strumming is great for electric and acoustic. It's great for theory for sure. So, and here's what I know. Triads, harmonization, using triads. What do I do next? Yeah, triads, harmonization. Well, I would ask you, do you know your modes? Do you know how to play the diatonic chord sequence? I think that would be a really great area to focus some time and effort in. 3-Card Monty says, should I learn the whole fretboard or just wing it? Man, there's a lot of questions like that. Like, people asking about winging it and like just going for it, like using your heart, mind, and body and soul and just like going for it. I'm gonna say this is the third time I've said this. Yes, you should do that. That's awesome. That will like really challenge your musical abilities. But if you mix that with a really strong foundation of knowledge and theory, you know, you go to school, like learn from guys from Guitar Control or from myself, Campfire Guitar Star, you know, like take one-to-one lessons, read articles in magazines, on and on and on. That's where you're going to get a ton of benefit. So, yeah, you know, like, so the question again was, should I learn the whole fretboard? I think you should learn the whole fretboard. Yeah, it will really help you. It will really help you to know your fretboard notes. And that's something that we teach in Stairway to Strumming, you know, how to find those notes and how to play chords off of those notes and the different chords, majors and minors, and how to play those chords in different ways and stuff like that. So, yeah, so that's interesting. That keeps on coming up as kind of a question, like, should I just wing it? Should I just go for it? Or like, you know, I just want to be able to feel it, right? And yes, you guys can feel it. And yes, you guys should wing it. But don't forget about some of those fundamentals and learning, you know, and getting that knowledge base really solidified. I think that we just can't underemphasize that. And 3-Card Monty says, should my teacher keep me in scales and exercises for 80% of my lesson? I feel like I'm only learning scales. Hey, this is another thing we talked about with one-to-one lessons. Do one-to-one lessons. Everybody here should be considering one-to-one lessons. But yeah, like, unfortunately, a lot of teachers are kind of awful. They're like, scales and exercises, that's what you're here for, right? That's what you're paying me for. It's like, well, no, I'm actually really paying you for the ability to play the guitar. It's like, all right, scales and exercises, here we go. You know, a lot of guitar teachers really go that route, and it drives me bonkers. Like, as a guitar teacher, I know that people are paying me and my team to sit with us to learn songs and to learn how to play the guitar. Yes, scales and exercise is important, but so is playing songs, so is playing music, so is exploring your own musical abilities. You know, using your ears, being able to improvise, write songs, play other songs, et cetera, et cetera. So I would just maybe ask that teacher, hey, do you mind if we do 50-50 in the lessons? Can we do like the first half scales and exercises and the second half all dedicated to songs? You know, see if he'll go for it. Because we kind of structure our lessons like the first, 15, 20 minutes is like scales, exercises, theory, but pretty quick we're snapping into songs and getting you playing. That's kind of how we structure our one-to-one lessons. Because like, look, having more physical ability, like if you can start doing stuff like and then being able to do with hammer-ons and pull-offs, like having that kind of physical ability is really, really good for you. It will help you play the guitar for those moments when you want to wing it and go nuts and use your musical intuition and stuff like that. Having more physical ability will help you. How do you get more physical ability on the guitar? You do scales and you do exercises, right? And so you can't discount those, right? But yeah, there becomes a point where it's like, dude, I don't need to be paying you, $60, $70 an hour, whatever it is, for 80% of my lessons being scales and theory. I think that we got to trim that back as guitar teachers. So. Okay, cool. What's going on at the Campfire Guitar Stars zone here? All right, so I just propaned. Says, my uncle passed away and he loved Black Sabbath. Can you play a riff or two for him? Well, firstly, I'm sorry to hear about your uncle. And I love Black Sabbath too. I think that there's only one Black Sabbath riff we can play, guys. You ready for this? Let me hear you. One more time. I am Iron Man. All right, that goes out to I Just Propane's past uncle. Cheers. That's actually one of the riffs that we teach in the power chord module in Stairway to Strumming. It's a great one because it's just all power chords right on the same string. So once you get this shape down, 2 and 4 is just 2, 5, 5, 7, 7. This part's a little tricky. That's why if you caught my lesson on power chords a while ago, I was just teaching it with one finger. And then you can eventually build up to the power chord. And then you go back to 5, 5, 7, 7. And of course, like you guys all know that riff. It's just like one of the most, maybe the famous riff, maybe next to Smoke on the Water or something like that, But it's like, that is a very famous guitar riff right there. And we all know how it's supposed to sound. But yes, 2, 5, 5, 7, 7, 10, 9, 10, 9, 10, 9, 5, 5, 7, 7. But yeah, power chords are a great place to spend some time on. And that's why we have them kind of like before we teach chords, is we've got a whole slew of power chord riffs, power chord songs, because that's a great way to exercise your fingers and just play classic songs, get those really super powerful sounding chords going on, and just get your fingers ready for chords, ready for chord switching. There's a ton of rhythm going on there. That's like one of those heavy head banging rhythm type of tune. So don't discount power chords. They will get a lot of value from those. Yeah. He was requesting NIB or War Pigs, but awesome. So Osman asks, do you have any tips on pinch harmonics? I can get it, but it dies out instantly. Yeah, so pinch harmonics, I might not really be able to nail them right here, but it's that type of sound, right? So what's a famous riff that uses those? Obviously, Zakk Wylde's you know where I actually learned it first was in that's where I first learned pinch harmonics, was of course the ZZ Top song Lagrange. And so pinch harmonics are an interesting one. You gotta play the note and then twist your hand so that the edge of your thumb does the harmonic and gets that squeal. And then combined with like thick vibrato, you know, you can get that super squealy type of sound. But yeah, that's how you do it, is a twist with your hand, and a little edge of the flesh on your thumb will, if put in the right spot, will get the squealy sound. So what you want to do is experiment with the distance between here and here. So, and you'll get different pitches of that harmonic. So right, you can hear those two different pitches happening, and there's just kind of dead zones, right, too. Like I can't get a pinch harmonic right there, it's too far back, so I bring my hand forward. Pick really hard as well. That's another huge tip. People try to like play it super light, and you just won't get that sound. And more distortion. Distortion helps those harmonics just pop out. So those are kind of some of the big tips. Hit the string hard. Twist your hand a little bit so that the flesh of your thumb allows that pinch harmonic to happen. Try different zones on the picking hand here. And what was the other thing? Pick hard. I think that was it. But I feel like I was missing something else. Anyways, I said it. I was just doing a recap there. But anyways, that's some of the pinch harmonic stuff. Let's see. All right. Question. Do you have any tips on... Yeah, okay. KJ Chicago says, have you ever played a Gibson BB King Lucille guitar or a ES335? Yeah, I played a 335 actually live a little bit. It's been years though, but the singer in my old band when I was like 20 had a black Gibson 335, and it says they're super cool guitars. They're great rock guitars and blues guitars as well, of course, you know, but like, yeah, they're just awesome, awesome guitars. What's one of the standout things about a 335 is that when you play on stage, the sound from your amplifier will actually go inside of that hollow body, right? So for those of you that don't know, a 335 is a semi-hollow body electric guitar. So it has these holes in it, like an acoustic does almost, but it's like what they call F holes. So, because they're kind of in the shape of like of an F. So the sound from your amplifier will enter those holes in the guitar and cause a feedback loop. So you can make notes sustain and squeal and feedback and all that good stuff so easily, because you get this feedback loop coming through. It's the sounds coming out of your amplifier, inserting into the guitar, getting picked up by the pickups, you know, et cetera, and it creates this feedback loop. And you can just feel the whole guitar like resonating. But yeah, just epic sustain and feedback and stuff. But yeah, they're, you know, just imagine like Gibsons all kind of like have that Gibson sound, whether it's like an SG, a Flying V, a Les Paul, a 335. I mean, they're all different, of course, but they all kind of like fall into that same category. And but yeah, if you like those types of sounds, if you know, yeah, you're gonna love a 335, that's for sure. Yeah, somebody was pointing out that you might have fret buzz, and a luthier is a good person to go visit. I definitely, there's certain things that I've learned how to do myself, like I've learned how to do the intonation and truss rod adjustments on my guitars, and some soldering as well, so I can solder in pickups and stuff. And but yeah, then there's certain things like fret leveling and, you know, and fixing various types of fret buzz and stuff that can be, yeah, just fret related, nut related, that I just got to bring that into a luthier. KJ Chicago, have you played a Gibson SG or a Gibson Les Paul? I own a Gibson SG and a Gibson Les Paul. So yeah, so anyways, that kind of goes on that comment of the 335. Cool. So let's see. Yeah, so I missed that Dan Kianami was asking some sort of question. Looks like you guys are hopping in and helping him out. That's awesome to see. Guitar problems, yeah. Some of the stuff is super easy to figure out. Like, one of the biggest things that I learned about was these saddle pieces over here. If you just raise those up, a lot of times you can get rid of fret buzz. But if you're getting fret buzz on open strings, because you can hear I'm not really, of course I'm turning off my amp so that it doesn't go through. But yeah, so the guitar itself isn't really getting any fret buzz like that. And also a little bit of fret buzz is totally okay. I don't know if you guys can hear that through this little mic, but there's definitely some rattle coming through there, but through a distorted guitar amp, I mean, it's inconsequential. It just does not matter if you get a little bit of fret buzz. So, but if notes are fretting out, like if you're going like, if you're trying to bend a note and it's just like getting cut off and things like that, that could be a, yeah, fretboard type of fret leveling issue. And then also, like I was saying, like a truss rod, you basically get your tightening and loosening motions. So just learning how to do a truss rod adjustment and being able to use, like to adjust these saddles, man, that has saved me hundreds of dollars, you know, like from having to go to a luthier, because those guys, you know, they charge a premium rate, which is understandable. But like, you know, if you're paying 80 or 100 bucks an hour for somebody to do something like just raising these up that you could simply do at home, it sure is nice to be able to just tweak some of those things yourself. And anyways, that's another thing I'm like really fascinated with though, like, and I've kind of geeked out on a little bit, is just getting the truss rod adjustment right and getting my guitar set up the way that I like them. I think that's like a really, really big deal for me anyways. Yeah, so Tony Boy, okay, well, ask me again, bro. Sorry, Tony Boy says, I think you missed my question. Oh, sweet. Oh, and Luke popped in. Nice. It says, Will and Mike are two of the best teachers out there. Their program has helped me tremendously. Nice, Luke. Yeah, buddy. Luke is an up-and-coming guitar player. He's already playing in bands and ripping it up. But yeah, he's been taking one-to-one lessons with Mike for quite some time, doing kind of like a bi-weekly thing, which is super cool. Anyways, thanks for popping in, bud. Good to see you. Tony Boy says, anyways, Tony Boy, I'm looking for that question. Let me hop back on the Guitar Control channel and see what's going on there. Oh, and then just before I do that, oh, I think I'm lagging out just a little bit. Sorry, guys. Just hang with me here for a sec. there is the link to Stairway to Strumming for those of you guys that are thinking about buying it. All right. Okay. Oh, hopefully this is still going. I seem to be having issues with my internet. Anyways, so hopefully that's coming through okay. Anyways, somebody asks, how can I improve my alternate picking when I'm shredding fast? Somehow I can't synchronize well enough my right hand. I miss lots of notes, and this is becoming even worse. When I'm shredding with alternate picking, I can change chords, for example, from chord E to A. Yeah, so yeah, I'm becoming more of a fan of legato for playing fast. And what legato is, for those of you guys that don't know, is a mixture between hammer-ons and pull-offs. Oh man, I hope my live stream isn't crapping out here. Okay, so let's see. So I'm becoming more of a fan of legato, which is a mixture of hammer-ons and pull-offs. Okay, so that's all. That fast playing isn't requiring a lot of picking there. Oh man, I am lagging, aren't I? I know I am. Gonna message my wife, make sure she's not steaming hard. My computer is super slow right now. It seems to be like a CPU issue at this point. Sorry guys, hopefully this smooths out here. Again. The thing I can think of is to maybe go like this. Like this. That didn't help anything. All right.